Picture a humble table, cloaked in a soft, trembling light, where 13 men gather for a meal that would reshape the destiny of humankind. At its heart, Jesus Christ, calm yet piercing, utters words of betrayal that reverberate across centuries. This is the Last Supper, painted by Leonardo da Vinci between 1495 and 1498 in the refectory of the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan. But what if, beneath this sacred scene, lie veiled symbols whispering prophetic truths about salvation, betrayal, and redemption? Today, we will plunge into the enigma of this Renaissance masterpiece, peeling back layers of meaning woven into the Gospels, and uncover why scholars like Giorgio Vasari and theologians like Thomas Aquinas see it as more than art, a theology etched in shadow and gesture. Let's linger on the composition, a tapestry of divine drama. Spanning roughly 4.6 by 8.8 meters, this experimental fresco, crafted with tempera and oil on dry plaster, bears Leonardo's genius in its delicate details, though time has frayed its edges. At the center, Jesus sits as a still point in a storm, his hands outstretched over a table draped in a finely textured cloth, its folds rippling like waves of sorrow. One hand points to the bread, the other to the wine, sacred emblems of the Eucharist. To his right, Judas Iscariot, shadowed in tense, grips a money bag, the weight of his betrayal, while his left hand dares to touch the same dish as Jesus, a chilling symbol of evil, rushing against the divine. The apostles, grouped in triads like chords in a sacred hymn, pulse with emotion. To Jesus' left, Bartholomew, James the Lesser, and Andrew recoil in shock, their hands raised as if to fend off the truth. Bartholomew leans forward, his eyes searching, almost defiant. Nearer the center, Judas, Peter, and John form a knot of tension. Peter clutches a knife, its blade glinting with the promise of his reckless zeal in the Garden of Gethsemane, while John, the beloved disciple, bows his head in quiet grief, leaving a haunting gap some speculate might hint at Mary Magdalene, though historians like Martin Kemp dismiss this as a modern myth lacking evidence. Across the table, Thomas, Philip, and James the greater flare with intensity. Thomas raises a finger skyward, a silent vow of doubt that will mark his path to the resurrection. Philip points to himself, as if questioning his own heart, while James' arms stretch wide in dismay. The linear perspective, a masterstroke of Renaissance precision, draws every line to Jesus' head, the vanishing point that anchors the scene. 3 windows behind cast a faint, crepuscular glow, evoking the Trinity, their distant landscape a hazy veil of dusk, hinting at the coming sacrifice. The table holds humble offerings, bread, wine, fish, and fruit, each a quiet verse of biblical meaning, with the fish echoing the ancient Christian symbol of Christ. In the right corner, Matthew, Thaddeus, and Simon grapple with the revelation, their gestures weaving a tapestry of disbelief, anger, and urgent debate. Leonardo captures a psychological current. The shock of Jesus' words ripples outward, like stones cast into a still lake. The colors subtle blues of divinity, reds of humanity dance with shadows, shaped by Leonardo's chiaroscuro, which casts depth and mystery. Unlike traditional depictions, no halos crown these figures, a bold choice that grounds the divine in human frailty, amplifying the emotional weight of the scene. Now, let's unearth the symbols that pulse beneath the surface. The scene freezes the moment from John 13:21 to 26, where Jesus declares, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me." Judas' money bag, tied to Matthew 26-15, glints with the 30 pieces of silver, a mirror of greed that darkens the soul. Nearby, a spill of salt, a medieval omen of misfortune, whispers of betrayal, echoing Matthew 5:13's call to be the salt of the earth. Unlike some crucifixion scenes, no skull lies at the table's edge to evoke Golgotha. Instead, Leonardo weaves mortality into the shadowed face of Judas and the fleeting fragility of the bread and wine. Leonardo's hands, informed by his anatomical studies, speak louder than words. Peter's knife, a flash of steel from Luke 22:38, foreshadows his impulsive defense. The bread and wine at the center, rooted in 1 Corinthians 11:23-26, are Christ's body and blood, the heart of the Eucharist binding heaven to earth. The triads of apostles mirror the Trinity, while the number 13, Jesus, and the 12 marks the Last Supper as a bridge from the Old Testament to the New. Even the table's cloth, with its intricate folds, seems to cradle the weight of the moment, its texture a silent witness to the sacred. Theologians like Augustine of Hippo saw this scene as a meditation on free will. Judas, seated so near the divine, chooses the abyss of betrayal. Leonardo, a Renaissance humanist, weaves science into faith. The mathematical perspective, precise as a prayer, reflects divine order amidst human turmoil. Some claim to see an inverted V on the table, dreaming of the Holy Grail. But scholars like Martin Kemp call this pareidolia, urging us to focus on the biblical truths Leonardo etched so clearly. The absence of halos, a departure from tradition, underscores the incarnation John 1:14's word made flesh-making the divine achingly human. Historically, commissioned by Duke Ludovico Sforza in the Italian Renaissance, the painting emerged in a time when faith and science clashed. Leonardo, once accused of heresy, paints a reconciliation. Every gesture, from Andrew's defensive hand to Philip's self-pointing finger, pulses with universal human emotions, tying the viewer to the theology of Christ's humanity. The distant landscape in the windows, barely visible, hints at a world poised between light and shadow, much like the souls at this table. The Last Supper is not merely a painting. It is a sacred mirror where betrayal and redemption collide in Leonardo's shadows. Its symbols, bread, wine, salt, and trembling hands, bring the Gospels to life, whispering questions that linger. At the table of our own lives, are we the traitor or the faithful? May this masterpiece guide us to seek the divine spark amid our chaos, holding fast to the truth of John 13:34, where love remains the final commandment. Thank you for unraveling these mysteries with me. Subscribe for more journeys where art and faith intertwine.